All right, we're idling, kind of. Well, it seemed like it's okay. Let's see if we can go snag this turtle out of the road. Oh! All right, guys, new video same day though. So a couple weeks ago, I waited till I needed to go to Louisiana, pick my grandpa up. Well, I waited kind of to the last minute, and it was the evening I had to go to work, and I just was like, well, I'll run the Yukon down there, throw my bike on the back, and hit the trails, and I'll sleep in the Yukon a couple nights, and just kind of wing it, I kind of like doing stuff like that. Well, I got in the Yukon, fired it up. Low oil light came on in the dash. So I was like, what the crap? Well, I checked the oil and it was low. So I was like, man, this ain't like this thing, because like 5,000 miles it uses a quart, And so I pulled it in the garage, put some oil in it, and I got it jacked up, and it was almost streaming oil out of the bell housing. I was like, oh crap. So, and I just changed the oil pressure sending unit, so I checked all that stuff, and it's dry as a bone on top. But the bell housing, now it's not streaming now, but it's leaking, and it's actually slinging up to the passenger side. So I got looking over, got it checked out, and I think we have that plate that's on the back of the motor. I think that's finally, like the rear main is leaking on it. So I got it jacked up, got it confirmed. I have to take the transmission out of this, man. And this is like, holy moly, it's kind of a bummer. But I mean, it has 220,000 miles on it. So, I mean, it's roughly went half of its lifespan. So, I mean, it's time for it to have a problem. And it's been very good to us, man. These are wonderful vehicles. So, I'm going to dig in. I'll show you what I've started on. All right. So we are on the ground. So what I usually do with these is they have a drain plug, and I drain the fluid out of the transmission, and it does not have that. So I'm just going to I'm going to remove this exhaust system. I've already sprayed the bolts with some of that air crowel and let it sit and warmed it up a little bit. But I'm going to try to pull the exhaust, get it loose, get the starter loosened up, do the torque converter bolts, and then I got to pull the drive shaft out of it. First one thing, and two, do this cross member, and then try to take it loose, bring it back, and I'm just going to set it down on the ground, on the jack. And then we'll go ahead and pull the flywheel and then pull that plate and the rear main out of it and try to get this thing fixed. So, and you can see, look at that. It's been slinging it all the way. I don't know if you can see or not. It's kind of bright. But yeah, it was getting ready to start being a problem. So, and it's leaking. You can tell, look at there. It's pretty wet under here. So I at least got to it before it ran out of oil or caused a problem. So in my opinion, the hardest thing about removing a transmission from one of these, and I'm talking the two-wheel drive, the four-wheel drive is a little bit more difficult. But on the two-wheel drive, the hardest part is getting it, well, and this will apply to both actually, this first part, is the exhaust system. Getting that to come loose without the bolts breaking off, pretty difficult, and it takes a little time. You got to soak it down with penetrating oil, try to get it loose, let it cool down, spray it a little bit. I've already went through that part. But now I've been lucky enough to get the exhaust loosened up on the manifolds, and yes, it is running, and I'll show you. All right, so yeah, the engine is running. So usually I use that torch set, and I heat this stuff up, but I actually let the engine do the work this time. I let it warm up, and I was lucky enough to get these loose here on the manifold, but back here, I don't think it's getting hot enough, and I cannot get those loose, so I'm gonna grab the torch set, and we're going to really heat those up, and I'm pretty sure they'll come right off. But that's one of the hardest things now with saying that. The next part is the transmission lines. They've got these little clips that you got to have some real fine picks. Those are a pain in the absolute butt to get out, and usually one of them goes bing and goes somewhere. So that's the two toughest things to me, and then also trying not to make a mess. Like I said, I wish it had that drain plug so I could drain the transmission down, and that way when I bring it out and the dipstick tube slips out or it slides one way and it doesn't dump a bunch of fluid. But I'm not that lucky in this case, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the torch set and try to heat that rear up and get those bolts loose as well. This may be the coolest garage sale I've ever seen. Holy moly.
Hey, Daddy.
What's up, kiddo?
Can I get in here? Daddy?
Another thing I forgot to mention, the torque converter bolts, I can't even get my camera in there. They're kind of hard to get to. You can only kind of reach them from that one spot. So that's a little bit different. But I have the torque converter. I have the lines I was telling you about with those clips that are kind of a booger. I got to do the speedo, and I got to do the other plug that's on the other side. No, wait, it's over here. Yeah, it's right here, the plug on this side. I got to do that, and then get the bell housing, and then we'll kind of set this down. I'm going to set it down, and I'm just going to roll it back. And then that way it'll give me room. And then I'm pretty sure I got to pull this oil pan, this cross member. So, I mean, essentially, almost could have just took the engine out of it and fixed it, but this seemed like it makes more sense. You guys see these things? This is what holds your transmission lines in. These are a problem. And like I usually do, of all the ones, I always lose one and I get to keep the other one. So I'm going to have to find another one at some point. All right, so now we're going to drop this transmission out of the bottom. So finally, and those damn clips, dude, like I said, I always lose on every one of these 4060s or 4080s. I've lost one. And this one flew off and it went bing! And it's up in the frame or up in one of those heat shields or something like that. So I'll have to locate another clip. But yeah, we're going to roll that transmission down and just push it back. And then we're going to drain the oil out of the engine and pull the oil pan and get that, try to see exactly where, we'll got to pull the flywheel as well. But we'll get that stuff pulled down. So let's get it. Okay, so I got the bolts out of the flywheel. Pull this dude down out of the way. And wham, boom, bam, the whole rear main's leaking on this thing. Because when I first pulled it, I was like, oh crap, it's like pretty clean and dry up here because of that, let's see here, that oil pressure sending unit. But no, this confirms it right there. So yeah, so what we're going to do next is drain the oil. And then this whole plate comes off. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is I've changed oil pans, I've changed cams in one of these. I've yet to completely disassemble one, so I've never pulled this cover off. So I think you can buy the cover with the seal. I don't know, but we're going to find out. But yeah, our next move is we got to drain this, probably going to pull this cross member, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to hold the engine up because I don't want all that stress to be on those mounts. And then also it'll probably smash some stuff and pull some wires. So I may get the engine hoist and put a chain back here and run up there and just have it for support. So, but right now I'm gonna take a break and go eat something. But yeah, we're definitely got a rear main issue right there. So, but we're gonna get it fixed, man. This is a great vehicle. And I'm actually pretty stoked to actually finally be working on it. Like, that's just how much I like this model of 99 through 06 GM. It's just, I think it's one of the last of the greats. Heck yeah. So we've determined our oil leak. There's a transmission. It has been rebuilt before and has absolutely no issues as of right now anyways. But pretty happy with it. But yeah, I got to get this pan off. But I am going to go and eat something real quick. But yeah, making progress. See what kind of motor he's got up in there. Okay, we got all the bolts out. Going to take and remove this cover, and it's out just like that. So we'll lay this on the ground. Go ahead and remove our seal, which is nice and stuck in there. Well, that thing is on there. And the rubber is on there as well. So yeah, we're going to scrape all that off. Pull all that. So yeah, we're going to have to take and go around this with some emery and clean that up, clean this oil pan up and get all that cleaned up. And then we're going to get ready to install the new one. So here is our old one, and it was leaking around the bottom of that. Here is our new one. That's the Dorman part number. But what I like about this is the seal is already pressed into the cover, so it makes life a whole lot easier. So we're going to do our cleaning and get in here and try to get that fixed up. What is going on? There it's all done, torqued in. Actually fit very, very, very well. So our next move is I'm gonna take this flywheel, throw it in the mix right there. Oops. Always try to line that hole. Let me get that right there. There's like you could put a, like a hole, like a dowel or whatever, but that just goes right there. So we're gonna stick the bolts in it. Try to get them lined up a little bit. There we go. So we'll put the flex plate back on and basically reverse everything that we did. Now put the transmission back in. I went ahead and bought this little thing that's got that clip I lost. I just bought the whole thing, so that'll work. So yeah, we're going to put this flywheel on, torque it in 3 steps. Said on the specs online to do it 15, 40, and 75. So that's what I'm gonna torque it down to. So let's get this on there and we'll put that 4L60E right back where it came from. So easy peasy. So all right, there it is. We got the flywheel back on, torqued 75 foot-pounds. So hopefully now this thing won't be slinging oil like an old 70s Ford pickup. So right on. I guess it's gonna get that bad boy jammed back in here and get it hooked up. So let's get it. All right, guys. I think we can call this one a night. All we've got left to do is the torque converter, bolts, put those in, the starter, then we'll put the drive shaft and the exhaust back on, and then get that stuff bolted up, and then do the cross member, then hook all the O2 sensors back up. We should have this about whooped and find out if it's gonna leak, but yeah, everything, all the tedious stuff is kind of hooked up, so not too shabby. I'll get this thing, I'd like to clean the bottom of it up some, get rid of a little bit of that oil, but yeah, ain't nothing going on here but a bunch of old man noises and some Chevrolet stuff. Where's she at? What are you doing? And my girl Susie. Oh, Emily, you can't have a pagan duck in your water down here. Here, give him some of your cracker if you want to. So I'm trying to run some limb lines today, and I'm getting followed by these knuckleheads. So we're now down to almost 3 miles of paddling, and these guys are staying right with me. What in the world is going on? I've never, ever had this. I think somebody's dumped these guys. So I didn't catch any fish, but check it out. I think my wife is gonna be surprised. Look out, guys. Y'all stink. Let's head to the house. So what you think? Yeah? I don't think anybody would.
Got the cat carrier.
I know, but I just caught them and put them in my truck. We didn't catch no catfish, but we got 2 geese and a duck.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you don't see them as much as you used to. What do you think it's going to start?
Huh?
Think it'll run?
I'm sure it will.
Let's see. I got it all back together.
A good deal.
Finally put the drive shaft back in. We'll see if it'll stop leaking oil.
Heck yeah.
Uh-oh, we got ding-dings. Turn the headlights off. It's gonna take a minute for it to get figured out. But we got oil pressure. Let's climb under here and look. I don't know why it's idling like that. Sure, they got everything plugged in. Yeah, it will not idle. All right, guys, so I fixed the PVC crankcase leak. My brain stopped working there for a minute. We're at 210 degrees. We're at operating temperature. We've made it about 4 miles. I talked to my friend Brandon at that Okie Hot Rod Garage. He said he's had some of these when the battery sets. This thing's been sitting for about a week with no kind of battery hooked up. And he said it takes a little bit for it to learn back. So, and I've went over everything on this car. I cannot find anything that's came unplugged or nothing that I touched. But it even, I don't know, he said it'll take a little bit, but just take it and drive it. So that's what I'm doing now. And it just died at the other intersection. All right, so we're rolling up to the stop sign. Now watch the charging gauge, because it gets idling low enough that even the voltage and stuff kind of drops a little bit. But watch the tach. Yeah, it's never idled that low. Let's see what it does. That seems a little bit better. And this thing, the performance, it's all there. Like, I mean, it hauls butt, man. So it can't be, I don't know, it's weird. Let's put a few more miles on and see how it does. It died at the other intersection, but didn't die at this one, so we'll see. All right, attempt number 3. The first one we died, the second one we stayed running. Now we're gonna roll up. It's not happy about it. Okay, let's roll on and see it. Maybe trying to learn things up. We'll see. All right, we're idling, kind of. Well, it seemed like it's okay. Let's see if we can go snag this turtle out of the road. Oh! Oh my goodness. Send him on down there. All right, we saved that turtle. Well, would you look at that? We're still idling. Charging, idling. All right, I pulled over. I shut it off for a minute. We're about 7 miles away from the house. We're on my 11.9 mile bicycle loop that I usually take. Nice, good straight road there. So let's wait just a little bit more and we'll see if it'll fire up. I've had pretty weird things happen, but this kind of irritates you when it won't idle and you didn't even touch anything on the engine. But I guess it makes sense. It's going to try to learn everything back. So let's see. It's been off for roughly a minute. Because before it would run up and idle pretty good, and then it was like, and die. So we're still, holy moly. Let's see if it'll take gear. Just let it sit there and chug. Shoot. All right, let's continue on.
Actually,
Look at that, Ruby.
Ah, got it.
Yeah, boy. All right, guys, so that is the end of this video. I put about 50 miles on the Yukon, and it is running flawlessly. I guess that ECU just had to get its bearings back and get reloaded. I guess it's like resetting your iPhone. I don't know. So I've had a few older ones that didn't have to do that, but I guess things change as they get newer, so I don't know. But yeah, we're very blessed to have that vehicle, that it's that easy and that affordable to work on, and it's got a lot more life left in it. So if you guys like what's going on, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got a lot more to do, so thanks, guys.